Why so serious? We have all heard the line, usually associated with madness, crime, and the colorful chaos of Gotham City. But what if I told you that the man in the purple suit and the woman with the baseball bat have figured out something about reality that you haven't? What if their madness is actually a high-level response to a world that has lost its mind? What if they are the only ones who are actually free? Oh, don't look at me like that. Rules, morals, they're just a bad joke, dropped at the first sign of trouble. They're only as good as the world allows them to be. I'm not a monster. I'm just ahead of the curve. Welcome to a psychological masterclass. Today we are performing a deep dive autopsy on the most controversial relationship in pop culture history. We aren't just looking at comic book panels. We are using the MMSL strategy, multimedia, storytelling, and psychological loops to dismantle the archetypes of the Joker and Harley Quinn. We are going to extract 5 brutal, life-altering lessons that will change the way you see your career, your relationships, and your very soul. We will explore the joyful nihilism of the Joker, the traumatic bonding trap that caught a brilliant psychiatrist, and why Harley's explosion of the Ace chemical plant is the ultimate blueprint for finding closure when the world refuses to give you any. By the end of this masterclass, you will understand why madness is like gravity. All it takes is a little push. But more importantly, you'll learn how to use that gravity to fly. Let's open the curiosity loop. If you've ever felt trapped by the expectations of society or stuck in a cycle you can't break, this is for you. To understand the Joker, you must first understand his anti-philosophy. Most villains want power, money, or revenge, but the Joker, he wants to prove a point. He believes in terroristic nihilism, the idea that the structures we build to give life meaning, like laws and social status, are fragile illusions. He famously mocks the schemers of the world. He says, "The mob has plans, the cops have plans, Gordon's got plans. They're schemers, schemers trying to control their little worlds. I'm not a schemer. I try to show the schemers how pathetic their attempts to control things really are." Lesson 1. The acceptance of chaos as a tool for mental resilience. In our 21st century lives, we are suffocated by the need for certainty. We stress over 5-year plans, corporate benchmarks, and social media algorithms. But the Joker finds a terrifying fairness in chaos. Why? Because chaos doesn't care about your resume, your bank account, or your title. It treats the billionaire and the beggar with the same cold indifference. In psychology, this is a distorted version of active nihilism. If you accept that you cannot control the universe, you stop fighting the storm and start dancing in the rain. This isn't about being destructive, it's about being unfazed. When Arthur Fleck says, "I used to think my life was a tragedy, but now I realize it's a comedy," he is describing a profound cognitive shift. When you view your failures not as a tragedy that defines your worth, but as a comedy of the absurd, you regain your power. You stop being a victim of circumstance and become an observer of the game. That distance is where true mental resilience is born. The Joker teaches us that the only sensible way to live in this world is to realize that the rules are often arbitrary. If you can laugh at the absurdity of a bad day, you've already won. Now we look at the sidekick, but calling her a sidekick is the first mistake. Before the pigtails and the chaotic grin, she was Dr. Harleen Quinzel, a brilliant PhD-level psychiatrist at Arkham Asylum. How does a genius become a monster? She fell into a psychological phenomenon now commonly called Harley Quinning. This term describes the act of clinging to a toxic, emotionally destructive relationship out of a blind, addictive devotion. It is a textbook case of traumatic bonding. "I've done everything you said, every trial, every initiation. I proved I love you. I even went into the acid for you. Why can't you just let me in, Mr. J?" I am not someone who is loved. I'm an idea, a state of mind. I execute my will according to my plan, and you, doctor, are not part of my plan. You're just a distraction.
Lesson 2. Identify the emotional swing in your own life. The Joker is a master of intermittent reinforcement. This is a cycle where an abuser alternates between extreme affection and extreme cruelty. One day, he is pinching her cheek and calling her his queen. The next, he is pushing her out of a moving vehicle. This creates a chemical addiction in the brain. The victim stays because they are constantly waiting for the next high of affection. In the real world, this doesn't just happen in romance. It happens in toxic jobs where a boss shouts at you for months and then gives you one small compliment. It happens in friendships where you are only valued when you are useful. Harley's fundamental mistake was that she stopped seeing a patient and started seeing a person she thought she could save. This is a lesson for every empath watching. Empathy is a superpower, but empathy without boundaries is self-destruction. If you are working 10 times harder than someone else to fix them or save the relationship, you aren't a partner, you're a prop in someone else's play. You must stop believing that your love is a magic wand that can heal a person who doesn't want to change. The most viral, most important lesson in Harley's journey isn't her descent, it's her escape. In the film Birds of Prey, Harley does something millions of people struggle with every single day. She takes her own closure. Most people remain stuck in the past because they are waiting for an apology that will never come. They are waiting for the person who hurt them to explain why they did it. But Harley realizes the Joker will never give her a clean break. He enjoys the power of keeping her on a leash. You think you're scary? Well, mister, I've seen scary, and you don't have his smile. I'm the one they should be scared of now.
Lesson 3. Closure is a choice you make, not a gift you receive. Harley physically and metaphorically severs her tie to the Joker by driving a truck into the Ace chemical plant, the very place she was born as his sidekick. As she watches it explode, she isn't just destroying a building, she is incinerating her old identity. To move on is a physical act. To let go is a spiritual one. Harley realized she had an identity before the Joker. She was an athlete, a scholar, a woman with ambitions. Recovery in the real world requires severing the last tie to your twisted origin story. Stop defining yourself as the person who was hurt by X and start defining yourself as the person who is building Y. Harley stopped being the Joker's girlfriend and became Harley Quinn. In your life, what chemical plant do you need to blow up today? What part of your identity is still tied to someone who doesn't even value your existence? True freedom begins when you realize you don't need their permission to be whole again. The Joker often speaks about the mask of sanity. He claims that everyone is a monster inside, just waiting for a little push. He says, Joker voice, mocking, "Their morals, their code, it's a bad joke. They're only as good as the world allows them to be." While we don't agree with his violence, there is a deep Jungian lesson here about radical authenticity.
Carl Jung, the famous psychiatrist, spoke about the shadow self, the parts of our personality we hide because society deems them wrong or weird. The Joker is the shadow fully unleashed. Lesson 4. Stop apologizing for your existence. The Joker doesn't wear a mask to hide. His costume is his real face. He says, "Don't ever apologize to no one for the way you look." Harley Quinn became a global icon not because she was a villain, but because she stopped trying to be the perfect, ambitious Dr. Quinzel and embraced her peculiarity. In a world of social media filters, curated lives, and the constant pressure to fit in, being the freak who is honest is actually the highest form of sanity. Are you living to please a superego, the rules your parents and society put in your head? Or are you listening to your id, your true desires? Success in the modern world comes when you align your external actions with your internal truth. As the Joker puts it, "I'm not a monster, I'm just ahead of the curve." Don't let social norms construct your cage. Find the beauty in your own chaos and stop asking for permission to be different. The most dangerous thing you can be in this world is yourself, unapologetically. We have covered the chaos, the trauma, and the emancipation, but there is one final secret hidden in the laugh. Joker and Harley are mirrors. The Joker shows us the danger of having no meaning, leading to the abyss of nihilism. Harley shows us the danger of putting too much meaning in the wrong person, leading to the prison of codependency. The ultimate life lesson? Balance. You need enough of the Joker's chaos to be free from the fear of failure, but enough of Dr. Quinzel's intellect to build a life that actually matters. Harley eventually found her tribe. She found poison ivy. She learned that recovery is achievable when you find safe, supportive relationships that tell you, "I believe you, you're not to blame." Madness is like gravity. All it takes is a little push. Don't wait for the world to push you. Choose your own direction. If this deep dive changed how you see yourself, hit the subscribe button and join our community of thinkers. We use the MMSL and CCDL methods to ensure every video provides 10x the value of a standard recap. Let's close the loop. In the comments, tell me, are you currently a schemer or an agent of chaos in your life? Smile because it confuses people. Smile because it's easier than explaining what is killing you inside. Good night, Gotham. And that was TCO, signing off.